Ian McCormack loved the ocean. He was an avid diver, but nothing prepared him for what he was about to encounter.
As I dived in the water, something smashed into my forearm. Felt like thousands of volts of electricity. My whole arm was swollen, double its normal size. My arm was blistered where the tentacles had hit me, like burn blisters. I could feel the toxin quickly moving up, my blood stream into my lymph glands. I thought to myself, Ian, what on earth have you done in your life to deserve this kind of punishment?
Ian was stung by 5 box jellyfish. One can kill a person in 4 minutes. And he wasn't ready to die. Ian was young, loved to travel, party, and womanize. He also had been an atheist and didn't know what was waiting for him in the afterlife. With precious time passing by and several failed attempts for help, Ian finally got an ambulance to take him to the hospital. But Ian knew it was probably too late.
So I brought my hand up to where my face should be, and it seemed to pass straight through, as if there was no physical form there. I thought, that's impossible. You can't miss your head. I went for my physical body, absolutely nothing. I thought, what the heck's going on? It's like I'm out of my physical form. It's like I'm transparent, yet I have the sensation of being a total human being standing there. Ian, who I am, appears to be standing there. What's happened? And as I stood there, I began to sense something out to my right looking at me. In front of me, I felt like invisible eyes of something or someone checking me out. The darkness had an evil presence, cold, encroaching evil, pervading the atmosphere. Where am I?
Shut up! You deserve to be here.
What? Deserve to be where?
Hell. Now shut up.
As I stood there, realizing I could actually be in hell, a radiant beam of light pierced through the darkness above me. As this light touched my face, I felt an awesome presence go through me, and my entire body seemed to lift off the ground and be translated up into this light and radiance. As I'm being drawn up into it, I can see that it's coming from a circular-shaped opening far above me. I feel like a speck of dust being drawn towards this light. As I'm being drawn up towards it, I thought, is this real? I looked back over my shoulder, and far beneath me, I could see the darkness. Still not understanding what this light was, I began to move up to the opening, enter it. As I was drawn into the opening, I could now see that it was a tunnel. As I looked along the length of it, I could see the source of the radiance. My first thought is the center of the universe. Look at the light. Look at the power coming from there. As I'm being moved towards it, I watch as a wave of radiance comes up. As this wave of light comes off the source, it touches me, and I feel warmth, comfort. All that kind of fear and darkness just seems to go out of me, and I feel a living light flow through me. Shafts of radiance came out from the central core. It was like a white fire. Phenomenal radiance in the central core. From that, I watched this brilliant light piercing out. And I thought, even the stars in the universe, even the constellations must find their energy source from this focal point. What is that light? Is there someone in there surrounded by this radiance? As I questioned that in my own mind, a voice spoke to me from the center of the light. The moment I hear his voice, I recognize it to be the same voice that spoke to me in the ambulance, telling me to the Lord's Prayer and whether I'd forgive. And he said, Ian, do you wish to return? If you wish to return, you must see in a new light. Words appeared in front of my eyes. God is light, and in him there is no darkness at all. I thought, God is light. Could that possibly be God? And in him there's no darkness at all. I've just come from darkness. Whoever this being is, he is completely separate from darkness. I see no shadow. I see no evil. Only pure white radiance. And he knows my name. Could it possibly be God that I'm standing in the presence of, talking to? I thought if it is, he must be able to see my spirit absolutely naked. He must see everything. I began to pull back. As I began to pull back towards the darkness of the tunnel, I watched a wave of radiance come off him. I expected it to touch me and literally catapult me back into the pit. But as this wave of light emanated forth off him, it moved through me, and all I got was love. The love was causing me to literally blubber. I was actually just bawling my eyes out. And I could feel an acceptance coming. I said, God, you can't love me. I've cursed you. More love. I said, I've committed all kinds of sins. I've slept around and taken drugs. More. As the love kept coming, I then literally divulged what I knew to be the most debauched things in my life. I wondered if I could just see his face. I'll know who God is. As I got within a few feet of his presence, I began to place my face into the light. And it didn't hurt your eyes. It was like you could look into it. As I placed my face closer in towards his face, hoping I'd break through that veil, as my face did, he suddenly moved. I saw an opening in a circular shape like a window into eternity or a door into eternity. As I looked through this, I could see an entire new earth open up before me. It was like I was standing on the threshold of eternity and I was getting a glimpse into it. As I'm looking, I can see grass with the same light and life emanating forth from it. I can see flowers, fields. I knew if I stepped on the grass, it would not damage it. The colour and the energy and the life emanating from it, it was amazing. I see a river or a crystal clear stream, trees along its banks, rolling hills to the left. I look out to my right, mountains in the distance, blue, blue sky, crystal clear. I'm standing there and I'm going, this is paradise. As I'm looking, I know that I belong here. It's like I knew I had been created by God to live here. I thought, why wasn't I born here in the first place? Why was I born on this earth? I knew I'd come home. I knew I'd traveled the world looking for that paradise, and here it was in front of me. I thought, I'm home. I'm home. As I started to move in, his presence came right back in front of me and blocked the way. He asked me this question. He said, Ian, now that you've seen, do you wish to go in or do you wish to return?
God, I'm not married. I've got no children. There's nothing for me to return back for. I don't want to go back.
As I look back, to my amazement, God showed me one person that had loved me. The moment I saw my mother directly behind me, I wept. I thought, I've just not only lied to God, but there is someone who loved me. And I thought, if I'm dead, and this is actually happening, and I step through into paradise, into the presence of God, will my dear mother have any idea that her heathenistic son prayed in that ambulance, repented of his sins, gave his life over to God, and God heard this young man and caught him up into paradise? I thought, my mother will think her son went to hell. I thought she'd get a telegram or a telex saying, your son died last night. Would you like him shipped home in a box or a jar of ashes? I thought, if that happens, it could destroy her. She's suffered so much, she's lost her family. And I thought, how selfish would it be for me to step through and leave my mother to bury me and think I went to hell?
I want to go back.
I was instantaneously back in my physical form in a hospital with the doctor that had been working on me holding my right foot in the air with a sharp instrument like a scalpel or a knife prodding the base of my foot. I could feel nothing, prodding it like a dead piece of meat. I hear the voice of God interrupt my thought, and he said this, "Son, I've just given your life back." I went, "What?" I've just seen God. What's happening here? I felt an amazing power go through me. It was like a low voltage of electricity. I felt my entire body starting to feel again. And within a few hours, I was completely healed. I said, "God, what have I become?" He said, "You're a reborn Christian." He said, "You only came in because your sins had been forgiven and the blood of Jesus covered you. The sacrifice, the atonement of Christ Jesus had covered your sins. You walked into his presence as if you were white as snow." I said, he stepped aside. He said, 2 Peter chapter 3, 10 to 18, God has created a new heaven and a new earth for those who love him. He said, this old earth will pass away. This body will pass away. But God said to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. To be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. Death, where is your sting? Death is swallowed up. How? Through the power of the resurrection of Jesus. The sting of death is sin, but the free gift of God is of those who repent of their sins will be forgiven, and they will step through into eternity. To live as Christ, to die as gain. Who have I beside you, Lord? And I just went, man, he said, a new earth and a new heaven and a new Jerusalem, the city of our God, shall descend out of the new heavens onto the new earth, and there'll be no more sickness, no more suffering, no more death, and no more war, and we shall dwell with him throughout all eternity. And there is a river of life flowing from the throne of God, and those who drink from it, it's eternal.
Well, please welcome to the 700 Club, Ian McCormack. Ian, it's wonderful to have you here.
It's great to be here, Gordon.
Your story is one of the most amazing miracles I've ever heard. What was your life like before you got attacked by the jellyfish?
Very much a non-Christian, partying, traveling, surfing, nightclubs. So religion was something I thought old people were involved in, and mother.
Your mother was a Christian?
My mother was a Christian. She was what you'd call, I think, in the States, Episcopalian or Church of England. And so I'd been brought up as a child in it, but I just thought it was for grandmother and old ladies, not for young people.
Not for you?
No, so I went looking at Eastern religions and traveling, and that's what I was doing, surfing around the world.
When did you know that you were actually dead? Because you were.
Well, as I was going into the hospital in the ambulance, I saw my life flashing before me. And as I saw that happening, I thought, well, perhaps I won't make it. Is there life after death? And as I'm questioning all these things, my mother appears in a clear vision in front of me, on her knees praying. I didn't realize, but back in New Zealand, my mother was the only Christian. And she had just seen God reveal my face to her and said, your eldest son Ian is nearly dead. And so my mother began to pray.
All right, so your mother's alive.
Mother's back.
She's in New Zealand.
Yeah.
She gets a visitation?
Well, I'd say it's a vision, a clear vision of my face, and God audibly speaking to her.